Hello there. In this video, I'm going to explain how to do small little placard plates with drill holes in each corner, some simple text, and then we're going to turn it into a multiple, and we're going to engrave the text, simulate engraving the text, and then cut the plates out. So I'm going to also explain some little tips and tricks along the way. So I have a 3 by 1.5 inch tall plate here. What I usually do when I'm creating a sign or placards or anything is that's all I do in this screen is put the width and the height of the plate, and I click OK. All the other things really I don't have to worry about. For instance, choosing my material, engraver's plastic engraving. I can do that later when I'm ready to send the job. And so that's other things here. I'll explain. Okay, so we have our rulers. Okay, this is where our origin is. In this case, we're going to be mounting our plastic in an upper left corner origin. Our 0, 0 is up here in the upper left. We don't want to have this, or anything like that. If you see it like that, put it back here if you're using the upper left corner as your origin in your rulers. Portrait landscape only flips the numbers. We don't care. Custom selection, to me, is an extra step that is not worthwhile. And thickness means nothing. That was put there for a warning for people who have, see, big router heads. They're controlling the depth in the software, so they prevents them from going too deep. It's just a warning. And then you have your driver, whatever you're using for your system, and that's about all we need to explain here at this point. So I have a 3 inch wide by 1.5 inch tall plate. I'm going to click OK. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some text in. And for whatever reason, it's gravitating over to a PDF file I have on the screen here. So I'm going to cancel. I go back to my sign blank. I'm going to click the second one in. I'm going to shift click here and see if that saves me. Okay. And so I'm in text editing mode now. Text editing toolbar opens at the top. First thing I'm going to do is change my text size to something smaller, 0.35. And I'll just put something like room number 100. I'm going to highlight my text. I'm going to change my kern percentage to 100 to bring my text a little tighter. Got a 3-line Helvetica font here. I'm going to change my margins. The inner box you see here is the margins for my text. So in other words, I can keep doing that and it won't let me go outside the box. If you want to change the margins here, you can click frame up here, and here are your margins here. I guess I won't bother at this point changing the margins because I have 0.15 all the way around, so that's fine. Okay, so that's all I need for text right now, plain and simple. I'm going to click OK. Now, I'm going to explain a little trick on drill holes that can be helpful, and when you get used to it, it can be pretty quick how you do it. So if I go down to my toolpath tools down here, little flyout window comes out. You got one that says drill. Okay, so I'm going to click that. Over here, you should be able to just choose whatever cutter because we're just doing a drill hole. So, and we're also controlling our depth with the engraving head. In this case, that's what we're assuming we're using is an engraving head, and we're controlling our depth at the engraving table, not in the software. However, I'm going to put some kind of depth here because it's probably going to need something. So I'm just going to put 0.001 for a depth. My drill hole color, I'll call it red. Actually, I'm going to call it blue. Okay, and I'm going to click OK. Now it's asking me where I want to put a drill hole. So I'm going to just put one randomly right there in the upper left corner. And that's it. I'm going to click my select arrow. And I'm done. So now I'm going to maneuver this drill hole to an accurate position. So if I zoom in on this drill hole, you'll see anything you select, you have 9 handles, right? So in this software, anything you select, no matter what, you always have 9 handles. If I select this, I have 9 handles. If I select drill hole and text, I still have 9 handles. So when I select the drill hole, if you look on the upper left here, these are really useful. These little handles here correspond to the handles here, the 9 handles here. So I click the center one, which is already red, right? And I can put a position of 0.1 inches on the X direction, 0.1 inches on the Y. So I very accurately placed that drill hole where I wanted it. So now what we want to do is put drill holes on the right side, and the bottom left, and whatnot. So here's a little trick. First thing I want to do is draw a box the same size as my sign blank. So yeah, I could go over here and grab a box here, draw it out, size it 3 inch by 1.5 inch tall and center it. But that's too many steps. So I'm going to go layout, plate frame. So that just dropped the box automatically the size of my plate. Okay. So from here, next step, I'm going to go to my options window. I'm going to go to Vision Pro Setup, Vision Setup, General Preferences. Okay, over here on the right side, you see how there's offsets. This is for creating duplicates, or when you create duplicates, this is what the offset's going to be. In this case, I have them set at 0 and 0. So if I make a duplicate of something, it's going to duplicate itself right on top of each other. So I'm going to leave those alone. By default, the offsets are going to be 1 and 1 on a new installation. So if you want to mess around with what I'm about to do, you want to go to that setup screen and this setup screen and put in zeros here, hit apply, hit OK. Okay, so now I'm going to drag a box and select the drill hole. I'm going to hold my shift key down. I'm going to select this box here. And I got to back up one step because I forgot to duplicate it. Okay, I'm going to click off the screen to deselect everything. I'm going to select the drill hole again. I'm going to hit Control D. So I just duplicated that drill hole right on top of each other. I'm going to hold the shift key down and I'm going to add this box as a selection here, that outer box I created. Now I'm going to go over here on a horizontal mirror. I'm going to click it. So basically I flipped the big box 180 degrees and it threw the duplicate drill hole over here. Okay, next I want to put 2 drill holes on the bottom. So I select both. Oops, I just dragged my box down there, so I'm going to hit Control Z to undo. I'm going to select both drill holes. I'm going to hit Control D. I'm going to shift select again this box. Now I can do a vertical mirror here, which will do the same thing, and it'll put those drill holes down here. But if you don't have this vertical mirror icon here, which you probably don't by default, you can right-click your toolbar here and edit your icons and create your own and add certain ones you want and this and that. I'm not going to go through that right now. But if you don't have this, the workaround is to go up here and rotate your box 180 degrees. So there's 90, there's 180. These arrows here rotate in 90-degree increments. So that just put my drill holes right where I want them. Okay, so now I'm going to click off the screen to deselect everything. I'm going to select this box and I'm going to delete it. We created our first plate exactly how we want it. And that's all multiples. When you're doing multiples, you always create your first plate exactly how you want it. and then you are ready to turn it into a multiple. Okay, so I'm going to, so the steps for multiples: select what you're going to multiply. In this case, it's everything. Next, I'm going to go to multiples. Now, there's two ways to go there: layout, multiples down here, or this little stack right here, multiples. Over here, I'm going to put down the piece of plastic I'm throwing down on my table. That's the first thing I'm going to do. 12 inches by 12 inches. I'll put some margins around the 12 by 12 because I don't want the cutter coming up and striking anything like rulers and whatnot. So the smaller margin you get away with, the more plastic you conserve. So you could maybe get away with 0.15. Okay, you do not want interplate margins in this case because that just wastes plastic. So you want 0, 0. Up here, I, for whatever reason, have 182 copies. I don't want 182. I could put 12, but it's telling on the right side that I can get away with 21. Actually, let me back up a step here. Another thing you need to do is make sure this is checked. Use plate. And because I didn't have that checked before, I have to go back here again and put 12 by 12. Okay. And my margins, 0.15. Okay. Moving along here. So it's telling me I can fit 21 plates within the 12 by 12. So I can increase that number here and fill these right up. So that's the maximum I can fit on a 12 by 12 inch sheet. Okay. Now I'm going to want to cut these plates out. So over here, you can choose score lines. I'm going to call my score lines red. So that actually adds a third color to my screen. I have the blue drill holes, the black text, and the red cutout lines. Next, I'm going to go over here where it says highlight text to be changed. So I'm going to change my text. So if I didn't do this and I hit OK, it's just going to allow me to engrave 21 signs that say room 100. So I'm going to click that. And just so you know, you could go to a replacement data file, Excel, and whatever other kinds of files, raw text, ASCII text, and you can merge text into your drawing if you have a lot of text that you say somebody's names, this and that. The beauty of that is you're not responsible for the spelling error if someone sent you that text you can merge in. Anyway, in this case, we're not doing that. So this is the text that's going to change. I'm going to hit OK. Now it allows me to type in my text, room number 100, then I can press enter, room number 101, room number 102. In this case, to make this video short, I'm going to auto-serialize my room numbers. So I go over here and I click the room number, the first plate here, and then I click serialization down here. Over here, I set base. Right here, I'll highlight 100, hit set base, and then I'll hit OK here. I'm going to increment by 1, right? I'm going to hit OK here. So it automatically populates my plates here without me having to type them in. Then I hit OK here, and it's done. Now, over here is my PDF that I haven't gotten to yet, that I'm going to move out of the way if I can. Let's see if we can move this out of the way. All right. Bear with me here. It's a little tricky to move this out of the way. Select that. I'm going to shift select the text. Let's see if I drag that out. And undo. So we'll shift select the text here. Let's see if we can get this out of here. There. I didn't explain what this PDF here. I can email you shortcut keys and whatnot, because basically these are shortcut keys in the software. I'm going to save that for another video, so I'll just leave that there. So now we're ready to engrave our plate. And you see when I zoom in, my drill holes are there, okay? F8 zooms to sign blank. These are shortcut keys, which will be on another video. Okay, so now, what are we going to engrave first? Text is the normal thing we would probably engrave first. So when we're ready to send this to the engraving machine, we go over here in the vertical toolbar, we hit engrave. Okay, and within the toolbar here, we put our cutter in our machine for the text engraving, correct? So let me close this out to see what my view settings are, because my text looks a little weird. Show fill, I'm going to turn that off. Okay, and I'm going to hit engrave again. So we're assuming we have our cutter in our machine right now to do our text engraving, and generally that's going to be about 10 thousandths deep into our plastic is usually a good depth. And now I'm going to choose my material, engraver's plastic engraving, like I mentioned, I can do up here. I didn't have to do that in the beginning. Here's my driver, in this case a 1624 upper left-hand corner origin driver. Now, if I go ahead and send this job off right now, it's going to send the whole job and engrave the whole job. Don't want to do that. I just want to engrave the text. So I'm going to click filter by color here. And black is the first one on the list. And that's what I want. And again, you could change the material here if you need to. So I hit select. And there's my preview. It's only going to do the text. I send it off. That's all right. I'm not connected to anything. My software is not really set up for this machine, for an engraving machine properly. So assume that the text is already engraved. Now it's waiting for me to choose my next color. Notice how black is checkered out, saying that I already sent it. Of course, you can resend the black again if you need to. So now I change my cutter. After all the text is done, I adjust my depth properly. If it's 16th inch plastic, I probably would choose something like 58 clicks on my micrometer on the spindle. That is if you watched how to properly zero a cutter video. And so I'll put like 58 clicks, and the proper cutter, I usually use a 10 thousandths engraver to cut out my material, engraving cutter. So when I'm ready and I got that in place and I'm ready to go, then I'll choose the next one, drill holes, we'll say, blue. I'll go to the drop down here and I'll choose engraver's plastic cutting. So what that will do is that will maybe increase your RPM a little bit on the spindle, slow your engraving speed down, your plunge rate, all these things. It just preset factory settings that are appropriate for cutting plastic when it's deeper engraving. Okay, so I send that one off. And then when that's done, I can keep the same depth and the same cutter in there and choose the red, hit select, and then it's going to cut them out. So that pretty much explains multiples and some little tips and tricks on how to put drill holes and all that. On another video, I'm going to explain some of these shortcut keys. These are just a simple common shortcut key list I put together a long time ago, but I have the master quick key sheet as well, which has a gazillion of them, and I'll be glad to supply them to you. Just send me an email and I'll shoot it off to you. Okay, that concludes this video.